2026 monthly school board meeting of the Florence County School District 3 Board of Trustees is now called to order. In accordance with the South Carolina Code of Laws 1976, section 30-4-809D as amended, the following have been notified of the time, date, place, and agenda of this meeting: the Morning News, Lake City Shopper, WBTW, WPE, and WNBF. The agenda is also posted on the Florence County School District 3 website. Madam Secretary, our roll call.
All board members are in attendance except for Miss Maddie Thomas.
Thank you. At this time, please ensure your electronic devices are off or on silent as our Dr. Our superintendent, will come before us for a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
Everybody here, this is a moment of silence.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Board, our entertain a motion regarding the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Jaquel Brown and a second by Ms. Paula Morris. Is there any discussion? None being noted. All in favor to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Board, I'll entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rebecca Yates and a second by Ms. Rutha Frierson. Is there any discussion? None being noted. All in favor to approve the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. There is no one signed up for public participation. Now we're down to the board chair report of any meetings or schools attended. Ms. Julie, anything?
I haven't attended anything.
Okay. Ms. Morris, anything?
I attended, the school opening was after voting. I'm sorry, y'all. I, just wanna, on our opening day, as we went back to school, I said that was, I thought it was very good, and how we appreciate our teachers and our workers, to encourage them to continue what they're doing. Also, I had a chance to, visit the community, and parents had a prayer walk for J.C. Lynch, and I was invited to that, and it really was blessed. We walked over to school and prayed, and we prayed before we walked, and we prayed at the end, because as we know now with everything that's going on, prayer changes people and people changes things. And then also I had a chance the first day of school to visit at J. Paul, because I never made my visit there at that school, but Mr. Dukes was nice enough to let me come in on the first day. And after the children got settled, and one thing I want to say is that the children was already learning. The music went into the music class with Angel, and the children was already, most of the time on the first day, I don't know, but sometime on the first day of school, children may not be, just getting back to school and maybe very active, but they were there and they were already getting into their singing and everything in the art class. And then I went to Lake City Early Childhood to visit with, we had Superintendent Weaver there. And also it was very overwhelming to see our students on the first day already learning. I mean, they was engaging the phonics sounds in one of the classroom, and the other classroom that we went in, the children was engaging, and also the third class we went in with the storytelling there, the children was engaging. So I want to just say thank you to Florence District 3, to all the staff, to our superintendent, that we continue to do what we're doing and move forward in this district.
Thank you. Mr. Kilburn? Ms. Sheets?
I went to Olana Elementary School on the first day of school and just welcomed students
school, event at the high school, Lake City High School. Just hopefully next year we can find a way to get more parents out there. I also did the, school line, Colorado line at J.C. Lynch, opened the doors, meeting the parents on the second or third day of school. Very uplifting to see these kids smiling, getting in, some crying, because it was the third day. A lot of us smiling. I'm glad to be there.
Thank you. Ms. Ruth?
Yeah, I attended the open house and, first day of school, I went to J. Paul and, Ron McNeil. And, it was very, very orderly at Ron McNair, I must say. And so, I just wanted to say that we're expecting a great year. When we look at the first day of school and everything that was going on, I know it's gonna be a great year.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Locklear?
I have nothing at this time, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
this wasn't when I went to J.C. Lynch, but one of J.C. Lynch's parent talked to me in the business I was in, and, she's concerned about the cafeteria there. She said that her father went there in 1969. She went there in the 80s and the 90s, and we still have that same cafeteria there. She has a son there, so she told me to bring it before the board to see whether we can do something about the cafeteria at J.C. Lynch.
All right, and I also attended the opening ceremonies for the teachers, welcoming back. That was a great ceremony to get everybody back together and starting the year off on the right foot. All right, request to attend any meetings, let our board secretary know so she can get with Ms. Lacuna if you have anything you need to go to or get in. And now we're down to the superintendent's report with Dr. Super.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, we'll have Ms. Mary Howard, our Chief Academic Officer, come and give recognition.
Good evening, board chair and board members and family and community members. I am so excited for our recognitions tonight. We have several students in the audience tonight that deserves a round of applause for their outstanding achievement and also for their leadership qualities. So would one of the board members like to come down? Mr. Blake, would you please join me? First, board chair and board members and community members, we are going to start with perfect SE rating scores for two of our fourth grade students. Last year they were fourth grade. So in their fourth grade SE rating score, we have Miss Alice Moore with a perfect score in ELA. Miss Brown, if you would also come down, you and Miss Macy come down with Miss, come on, Alice, girl, come get you. Come on, girl, perfect score. Miss Cynthia, you taking a picture, I need you to come on down. And also we have our fourth grade ELA teacher in the recognize them for their outstanding leadership skills and participating in this program over the summer. For Girls State from J. Paul, we have Miss Azaria Aito. We'll get everybody, all right, let's stay right there. All right, next for Girls State, we have Miss Zion Gunter from Lake City High School. Mr. Cook, come on down. Yeah, I said there was a- Yeah, I'll get him, I forgot him, I'll get him. Also from Lake City High School, we had Miss Miss Logan McKnight. Logan was also the governor at Girls State. Come on down. And if you're not aware, governor is the highest achievement that you can get there. They actually vote just like they do, city council. So she was voted in from girls from around the state to be the governor for Girls State. And then we had one gentleman from Lake City High School to participate, Mr. Samar Awal. Alright, so we'll get all the students, and then I'm gonna need Mr. Dukes, and if y'all will stay for just a minute, cause we didn't get him with, Azaria.
Yeah, open them all up, there you go. 3, 2, 1.
And parents, while they're getting this photo out, we wanna thank you so much for partnering with Florence School District 3 to make sure that your students get the best education possible. We thank you for everything that you do, and we thank you for taking time out tonight to come to share in this honor. Again, we are so proud of each and every one of you, and thank you for helping to make Lake City shine.
At this time, we have our finance update from Ms. Hope Gibson, our finance director.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, and all other members of the board.
Good evening.
I would like to present to you Florence County School District 3, August 2026 finance updates. Our mission statement is ensuring our students are college or career ready and are productive and responsible members of society. Our 2026-2027 district goals: number 1, to improve the academic success of all students. Number 2, to ensure the safety of all district schools, offices, students, and staff. Number 3, to increase the number of students reading on grade level and grades K through 3. Number 4, to recruit, retain, and train excellent instructional and administrative staff. Number 5, to build effective school, community, and business relationships, partnerships. And number 6, to ensure financial stability. The board approved on July 16, 2026, board meeting, the use of the fund balance of $1,499,000. This slide by object code is to present the fiscal year 2026-2027, a balanced budget. As you can see, what is in balance. So our revenue is $37,297,102, and our expenditures total is $37,297,102. The general fund reports are linked to the board agenda and also posted on the Florence County School District 3 website. Our general fund approved budget is $37,297,102 for the fiscal year 2026-2027. As you can also see it again in green. As you go further down, we have the carryover use of fund balance from the prior years. So $1,801,612 for fiscal year 2025-2026. Carryover is for the stadium upgrades. $383,436 for fiscal year 2025-2026. Carryover is for purchase services and contract services. $64,685 is the carryover from fiscal year 2024-2025. And that carryover is for facilities, renovations, network equipment, and dual enrollment, which gives us a total carryover of $2,249,733. The fiscal year 2026-2027 general fund approved budget plus board approved use of fund balance, now it is $39,546,836. This is the general fund by object as of July 31st, 2026. Are there any questions?
How much is left in the fund balance now?
It is 8 million, and you want the exact number? Give me 1 second, please. The fund balance remaining as of November 2025 was $10,078,421.11. After we used the $1,499,000 to balance the budget for fiscal year 2026-2027, it is $8,579,421.11 as of today.
Thank you.
And what's the percent that we have to keep in the general fund? Isn't there a certain amount we have to keep?
8% of a month of operation.
Do you know what that is, or?
For us, I
Yeah.
can't give you that right now, and I would have to do
Okay.
an average for a whole year and
Okay.
then multiply it out by the 8%, so
Okay.
of last year.
Okay.
But I can bring it back to you.
That's
the
fine,
next
yeah,
meeting.
just to make sure we see where we at.
Yes, sir, we way above.
Okay, that's fine, I
Yes.
thought so.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we will have a presentation from Mr. Mike Gallagher, which is the director from Compass Municipal Advisors. He will be presenting concerning the SCACO GEO Bond Programs Resolution Participation Information for Florence County School District 3.
Good evening, how are y'all today?
Good evening.
Two things for you. One, in your board packets, there was a resolution that outlines this general obligation bond for an amount not to exceed $1.3 million. That's a little more than we looked at last time because we were coming 2 times a year to you. So this time we figured it would be a whole lot easier not to take up a whole lot of your time. Would be, let's do one resolution which will take care of your December payment and your payment next June. So there'll be an issuance now and an issuance next year, but we wanted to do it all at one time for you. Okay? So let's look through this other document you got in there, which I'm sure y'all recall looking at in the past. So right there on the first page is the debt capsule report. Right now, as of today, there are 3 outstanding general obligation bonds. Go.
It's
We
on-
didn't, we
It's
didn't,
on-
we
it's on-
didn't get it in the package.
Okay.
Yes, click the tab for it, it should pop up. Yeah.
There should be a folder.
Yeah,
It's
but-
the resolution.
Yeah, but this is the bonds.
It's in the link.
Yes, on the.
Oh, she said folder.
Oh, it's not in the folder, but it's on here.
It's on here.
It's on the tablet.
So, look at the screen.
On the screen, yep.
All right. We all good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, great. Okay, so right now we have outstanding 3 general obligation bonds. There's the 2021 that's got $724,000 and that matures in 2028. There's the 2023, which has got $1,117,000 that runs through 2030. There's the special obligation bonds, I'll talk about that in just a minute, and then the 26A for $442,000, and that will mature next March. So we did the 2025 special obligation bonds, which I hope y'all remember, that was the special equipment financing to allow you to move forward with the program that Schneider Electric had. And so when we did that, we were able to go out and buy equipment. And then each year, we need to make a payment in December and a payment in June of each year. So there's 2 times a year you have payments. And so this was gonna put you being able to make that next payment that you have. And so today, the resolution will allow you to make both payments next year. Okay? The next page shows the debt structure graph, and this just shows what your basic payment, what all your payments of principal and interest are. We were at 26 mils last year, projecting to be at 24 mils this year and the next year. And then we'll talk in just a minute about at the next columns where it goes up to 22 and why there's some things that come into that. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay. The next page is the debt structure report, and that's just the math behind the graph. That has the total principal and interest, and so that will just aggregate the payments that you have all the way out. We've included bonding interest, and that's so we've got an ability to make sure we're capturing what that interest is for the bonds you do in the spring and the bond you do in the fall. And that'll make the payments that you have on the special obligation bonds. The next is the millage levy cash flow report. So from 2013 through 25, those are actual collected values of the mill. And then we saw a 13.8% increase in 2025. We didn't want to go ahead and factor in growth going forward. Wanted to be as conservative as possible, and then that way you would be able to use that for any other things that you need to. Other thing to notate, we did put in the AESC fee in lieu. I'm not sure if that's something that needs to be in anymore. That's something we would need to talk about, but you know, it's not coming online until 2029, so that's not a pressing problem we got today, but it is something I wanted to bring to your attention. We had that listed, and then, you know, we showed what the millage would be, and then on the far right-hand side, we showed what the millage would be if you did not have the AESC fee in lieu of taxes. So a lot of things can happen between now and 2029, so we'll cross our fingers and hope they get that back on track and get it where we'll be able to have some funds.
So what is the
AESC, that's the big battery plant over in Florence,
Yes.
where they worked out a deal where you got some money from the FIALU, and hopefully it comes, but we just wanted to make sure we put it in there originally, but, you know, we just want to say, let's look at it once we get to 29. Okay? Any questions on this? Okay. The next page is the constitutional debt limit report. And this just shows that you've got 53,356,000 of assessed value, and 8% of that is 4,268,000. So that's the amount of money that this board is able to go out at any one time and borrow. And you can see your remaining capacity is about right under $2 million right now. So you still have a little bit of debt limit. So if there is something that you needed to do, you're able to go out and borrow that money. Okay. The last page just gets into the what we look at is the debt service millage levy summary. Basically starting with a pro forma of what the fund balance is with the debt service fund, $57,668 for the value of mill times 26 mills comes into approximately 1.5 million. We've got some money that's coming in from your state sources from the homestead reimbursement, and then you have some money that was throwing off the debt service reserve fund from the special obligation bonds, which allows us to have $2 million of revenue. We show that over in the next 18 months, you got 1.5, so that's going to keep us right there at 606,000 for your debt service fund. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Just wondering what, I don't know what that means. What's that mean, like the 606 is what would be our, like a surplus or?
That would be what's left in the fund. That would be what, in there, you want to keep a little bit, you want to keep a reserve there.
Okay.
You don't want to deplete it down to nothing, and then the next year, they need to keep an amount there for a reserve.
Okay.
So, you have the resolution before you. You would need to adopt it.
Any more questions, anything? Board, I'll entertain a motion regarding the SCAGO bond.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the SCAGO bond.
I have a motion by Ms. Rutha Frierson and a second by Ms. Rebecca Yates. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve the recommendation of the SCAGA bond resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll have our community report update from Ms. Angela Scott. Director of Community.
Sharing with you our personnel report for August of 2026. certified and 4 classified. From the prior month, we had 12 vacancies, 6 certified, 6 classified. And just for your information, at this time last year, in August of 2025, we actually had 13 vacancies at this point, 10 certified, 3 that were classified as well. At the time of this report, we actually had 6 vacancies. Currently, we have 2 certified positions, the middle level science and speech. And now we have 2 classified positions. Bookkeeper, we have filled the AIA positions that we had, and we're adding on an IA sped position. Are there any questions?
Yeah, so with us, is it science one of the core subjects and we still don't have a teacher or teachers because one is needed at both of the school, like Muhammad Meir and J. Paul?
Yes. So currently, our middle level science position is at J. Paul. We don't have anyone yet, but we're consistently interviewing. We're still recruiting, still searching.
So who's in that classroom now?
Currently, they have a substitute.
And does the substitute have any kind of science background?
No, ma'am. So the school, their academic team would be working with that substitute. Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
This time we have our instructional update from Ms. Mary Howard, Chief Academic Officer.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Tonight, I want to bring you updates based on our board goals, Goal 2, academic achievement, and then also we'll tie in Goal 3, reading readiness. Our SC Ready data has been released early this year, so it was released August the 10th. So we want to share that with you. Overall, we're looking at a 2% increase of students who are achieving meets or exceeds on SC Ready. So we do have continual growth in our ELA data, and we're looking at, we have some shout outs per school. At J.C. Lynch, 4th grade, which we saw Miss Abby McLean tonight, outscored the state average. She had 77% of her students at meets or exceeds. And then at Scranton, we had 4th grade teachers, 70%, and a 6th grade teacher at 76.5% of her students score meets or exceeds. So again, we see steady gains in our ELA progress. Some highlights from that, we continue to look at implementing our high quality instructional materials. In K2, we are Wonders. Oh, I put my own tonight. Oh, you haven't told me. Okay, so I was like, hit the button. All right, so Wonders is our high quality instructional material there. In 3.8, we are looking at the Ready curriculum, 7.8 Study Sync, and of course we are still implementing our ERLA curriculum, which is our reading curriculum that we use to do reading levels, to assess kids individually with their reading levels, and then teachers are implementing letters. That is their professional development there. We have an intentional focus on our reading conferences for 30 for 30. We continue to ask parents to read that 30 minutes at home. Teachers are dedicating that time in the classroom so they can also do individual reading conferences with students. That tiered instruction is coming in through ERLA. It has a small group reading component to it where it gives the teachers exactly where the gap is for students. If it is a phonemic awareness gap, a phonics gap, and then when it moves into comprehension. PLCs that own the job, professional learning and coaching support. That is a big plus for us as we look at ELA. Our elementary schools all have literacy coaches. Ms. Christy Flowers has been adventuring out in secondary world, leading a couple PLCs, and then also we will have some support there as well from Dr. Gunther. We are to look at who's growing, next steps, what do we need to do when we look at our data. And overall, we are continuing to consistently trend upward in ELA. We know in math, last year we had new math standards along with new math curriculum. So this is kind of, it's hard to compare apples to apples because it's two different sets of standards. But we are, overall, we do see the consistency in our scores from 2001 to 2026 from last year. Again, we do have some bright lights to also highlight there. We have Ms. Kirsten Burgess at J.C. Lynch, who outscored the state average. And you can see the state average on there was 47.93 across the state. So we do have teachers that are outscoring the state average. Ms. Sharina Bradley from J.C. Lynch, Ms. Gianni Shaw from Olanta, and Mr. David Dowdy from Scranton all outscored the state average. And then also, when we look at some key things with math, we also want to highlight the math department at Dr. Ronald W. McNair. They've had steady and meaningful improvements from 2024 to 26. Students meeting and exceeding has more than doubled at Ronald W. McNair. Going from 10.2% of students meeting and exceeding to 21.6% of students meeting and exceeding, so increasing 11.4%. And we know that the work is being done there and the consistency is in place. So even though this slide might look a little, we went down a little bit, we are putting in the work and it is paying off with the consistency and really implementing Math Nation as our high quality instructional material, actually looking at those POCs there and being very intentional about what we see in classrooms. Our middle schools are also implementing Zern, which is a free math program from the state, and it is actually it's not like iReady where iReady fills in the gap. Zern, if the teacher is doing probability, they can assign the probability unit to get additional support with that. So we are excited to have that. Our science scores for SC Ready, we have seen a steady increase in science as well. We would like to give a shout out to Ms. Remy Floyd Cooper at Scranton with 70% of her students meeting and exceeding. So really, yes. The state average in science was 51.8. So we are excited to share in that celebration with Remy. So we're always looking at ways to dig into our standards, dig into our curriculum. We use our data. We're looking at the release items from the state. They also produce a document that's called the assessment specification document that gives some very intentional things that we can do to make sure that students are being successful at the standards. So we are doing that. Mr. Blake is also working with the secondary team, looking at common assessments and things of that nature. So we're always looking to get better at what we're doing. So please know that when I stand up and I tell you that we're growing, we're growing. We might not always see it at the achievement level, but students, we are closing the gaps, and we are really excited about that. When we look at our end of course exam, this is an area that we're continuing to focus on to look at ways that we can get better with this. But we do have a bright light here as well. Ms. Andrea Atkinson at J. Paul outscored the state for her English. So some key instructional moves that we're looking at, and we're continuously tweaking this as we meet. Like tomorrow, we met with principals already. This month we met with APs already, and we're meeting with our instructional coaches on tomorrow. So some key things that we're continuously looking at and reading, we want to know what are we doing in our classrooms for kids to read, think, talk, and write. We know that it's important for them to be able to process what they're reading, but we also want them to communicate that back in a meaningful way to make connections in reading. And math, we're really looking at what's being modeled. The students know why that answer is reasonable or not reasonable, and really being able to have that math discourse where they can talk about the situations and explain why they're using certain strategies to be able to provide an answer. And then in science, questioning, investigating, and explaining, really looking at what activities that we're providing, our teachers using our science kits materials, providing that meaningful experience for kids. So these are things that we continue to if it's working, if it's not working, as we go into classrooms. All right, so what's happening in Florence 3? Across our core academic areas, we're seeing evidence of growth. Our responsibility now is to turn that growth into sustainable achievement by strengthening instruction, responding to specific standards-based needs, and ensuring that every student receives the support they need to reach proficiency. All schools have analyzed their fall and spring data. Ms. Doris has also presented that with both principals, assistant principals, even met as a DIT team to go through where our areas of weakness are, so everybody knows what the data is. On Monday, we'll be providing district level PD to teachers after school through a virtual model, but we will also go over data with everybody district-wide and also look at using Teacher Navigator. And that's another program that's provided by the state that just kind of gives the teacher a snapshot of everything in one area for a kid going back several years, so you can actually see the progression. And we're continuing to track grad rate and CCR. We set those meetings up today to start looking at our new cohort. And then some spotlights that we have. We have 2 schools that have received the 21st Century Grant. That is a 5-year grant. So Lake City Early Childhood Center and Olenta Magnet School. Let's give them a round of applause. And then we continued our partnership with Original 6 that provides funding for after school at J.C. Lynch and at Main Street. So at our elementary levels, we have some funding coming in to support our after school programs. Original 6 has already started. 21st Century will start September 8th, around about that time, for those students. And we are happy this year that for 21st Century, we are gonna be rolling them buses on the first week that it starts. So we are extremely happy about that, so we can get as many students in the program as we possibly can. Upcoming events, parent-teacher conferences. So it's time for interims already. So parent-teacher conferences are September 3rd from 4 to 7. We have early dismissal for students on September 4th, and then no school on Monday, September 7th, because of Labor Day. Any questions for instructional updates? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. I also want to thank our principals for being a great instructional leader and focusing on continuous improvement. So thank you guys for what you do there. It's good talking to you. All right, we'll have our facilities update from Mr. Brian Hudson. Hey, good evening, everybody. We'll start with phase 2 district projects with Schneider Electric. The mechanical window and roofing upgrades are considered to be substantially complete. We do have some remaining bar units that need to be installed. We added those with a change order using some of the interest earned on the special obligation bonds. So we were able to do a little more air conditioning work than we had anticipated. So those will be done sometime late September into October. The LED lighting installation is nearing completion. We're waiting on the final inspections by the Office of School Facilities. Building automation is complete at most schools, with Lake City High School and the Cape building still remaining. Softball and baseball lighting installation is targeted for later this month into September. And we were able to meet with the Schneider project team along with Mr. Driggers, myself, and to kind of bring Dr. Suber up to speed on what's already been done, what is in progress, and what's still outstanding. And I think that was very informative for him. So moving on to Ward Memorial Stadium. End-wall rough in for plumbing and electrical is being completed in the field house. We expect sheetrock installation to begin in there soon. The ticket booths are dried in and sheetrock has been installed, as well as countertops. The electrical tie-in is completed for the concessions building. Water and sewer tie-ins, they're still working on that. I have the concrete for the plaza and sidewalks have been poured. That has not happened yet. I know that they've got the gravel laid. I think some of the wet conditions have kind of put that behind. We expect that to be done, and finished next week.
Question on the field, when is our first game, is all this, how? they
First
gonna-
home game is September 18th.
Are they gonna have stuff, restrooms and stuff open to be able to do?
We're,
it, or how
that's our expectation, yes, sir. We still have all that to finish. We have some, cleanup work around the field house, some landscaping and that kind of thing. And we've talked about it, if the landscaping's not done, then we'll change that game to a road game instead. We've already,
Okay.
we have a contingency plan
Okay.
in case that's needed. We've talked to Coach Eastep and Coach Apicella about that.
Okay.
You know, we're all on the same page for that. We want it to be nice and finished when we
Yeah,
have
people
that
come
first
in,
game, yes,
okay.
sir. And then finally, the Florence County has asked that we renew a lease on, the Dr. John Thomason Field that's located across, Welsh Street behind Olanta Elementary School. They've leased that property for a long time. They've made some improvements on there. It's got, two baseball, softball fields, a walking track, playground, and a picnic area, all which they maintain. Any improvements are their responsibility. It's a good deal for them. It's a good deal for us. So they're asking to lease for 20 years at $1, and that will require board approval. And we do recommend that we lease it to them.
And now all that property is ours, the school owns all that property,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir. Except for, if you see, just on the edge of that, you see the old gym.
Yeah, on the right.
That was, that is now owned by, I think, the town of Orlando. We sold that to them years ago.
Okay.
I have a question on that.
Yes, sir.
Would that be something that would be worth just selling to them instead of doing a dollar lease? At least that way we'd have money in the district from it?
What's the property worth, or is it something the district needs to hold on to? I mean, that's 20 years that you can't do nothing with the property if
Right.
you lease it like
Well,
that, so I don't know how it works.
we don't use it.
For any,
I
we wouldn't ever
think
need it.
I mean, that's why I was just curious on it.
But you wouldn't be able to sell it within that 20 years if you did a lease, right?
Does the
No.
school use that field for anything, for field day or anything like that?
Every once in a while, they take walking field trips over there or, playing games at the field.
Okay, so yeah, we do use it some. But, I mean, that's something we could look at.
Yeah. I just didn't know how critical it was to do a 20-year lease and then you can't have nothing if you had to get rid of something and couldn't
Yeah.
sell it. I don't know how that works.
A lot can change between now and 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
If 20 years isn't, if that's too long for you, I mean, we can always go back to them and say, no, we prefer however many years you
What's
want to do
anybody's
it.
opinion on this situation? I don't know.
Well, because that's same thing, cause on Head Start lease like that, yeah, Head Start lease like that.
20 years?
They've
Is it
been
20
doing it
years?
for, they've been there over 20 years, and their leases like this. Am I right, Mr. Hooker?
I didn't hear you. Ms. Lawrence.
Head Start, Lake City Head Start, don't they lease, the way they're leasing the land now?
Yeah, I don't know that they have a lease for that long. I'm not sure how long their lease
Like
is,
30 years, something, yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it's not that long.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we need a shorter lease agreement.
Okay, what would the board like to do?
I think 5 years would be
Probably go
good.
5 at a time or
Five,
something, yeah.
okay.
It's 20 years is a long time.
When you don't know what you need to do with something, yeah, I just feel like that's a long time that you tied up and can't do anything.
I mean, I don't think we will not continue to let them use it, but.
Yeah, that's,
Okay. All right, I will get back with the county and ask them to revise the lease and for 5 years, and then I'll bring that back.
So at this time, if they had a 20-year lease and it's just ending?
I don't know if it's been 20 years, Dr. Mill. I'm not sure that, this isn't something I would have been involved
Oh,
with the
yeah,
last time they
okay.
leased.
okay.
But I'll,
Where is the lease?
Thought it
I think we
existed.
need to find that. We need to see that.
I couldn't tell you where.
There's a lot of leasing and agreeing and stuff
Yeah.
that the board does not know about, and I think that stuff needs to be reviewed. So that's not at you, but
No,
can you
no.
ask them if they have a copy of it?
Sure.
Or where we can find the previous.
I'm sure the county has a copy of it.
We need that.
We should, yeah.
We
And
should
I'm sure
too.
there's a copy here somewhere, I just don't know where.
The county might be easier to access,
Right,
probably.
right.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll get with them, then I'll bring that back to you, next month.
okay.
That sounds good.
Any other questions for me?
That's it.
About the auditorium, how's that?
We're still waiting on the architect. We have told him that we want the drawings done, the job bid out, and a contractor selected by October 1st. And that will give the contractor plenty of time to be finished in December and not conflict with anything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I move that we table the lease agreement for Florence County Olana Athletic Complex.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Jaquel Brown, a second by Ms. Julian Mims to table the Olana Athletic Complex field lease agreement. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to table the Olana Athletic Complex lease agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we have a legislative update from Ms. Casey Lee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we're gonna start out, tonight, just going over some legislative updates, some things that I had brought to you in the past that have now, become law, so just wanna make you aware of those items. The first is the School Board Code of Ethics and Mandatory Training, which was passed. And basically, this requires that the School Board, Association, has a model code of ethics that must be adopted by each school board. Local boards will adopt the code, has to be within 3 months of them issuing that to us. Then the State Department will develop and adopt board member training program by December of this year, so that's of 2026. And all board members will be required to complete that new training by May 18th of 2027, as it stands today. So after the initial round where they train all board members, then they'll just start having it on an annual basis for those that are newly elected to a board. The topics of the training program that are specifically mentioned, you can see there: policy development, personnel, superintendent and board relations, instructional programs, district finance, school law, ethics, nepotism, conflicts of interest, and community relations are all topics that should be included in that training. And again, kind of the key items we need to remember is that once we are given that code of ethics, the board will have 3 months to adopt it. We have not received it yet, so it's when we get that, we'll be bringing that to you. The law says that it has to be adopted at a regularly scheduled meeting. And the local board must complete the training and publish certifications in board minutes. Failure to complete the training, the governor is supposed to get involved in issuing, I guess, kind of like reprimands for those board members who don't complete. So we will be giving you more information as we receive that information, but just wanted to let you know that that is new. Another new law that was passed deals with student expulsions. You can see I have in red there the words that were added. So the key changes, it requires the expulsions for knowingly bringing a firearm to any setting under school board jurisdiction for at least 1 year from the date of the incident. Before, knowingly was not in there, and so knowingly is there now. So you have to be able to prove that the student knew that they were bringing it. Any deviation from the case-by-case basis must be voted on by the board, even if a hearing is conducted by district staff. And they also added, it was not in the original, but it was added by the time that it was passed, that knowingly and willingly is also added for threats. So any students making a threat of bodily harm with a weapon, now has that knowingly and willing added as well. So during the process, the legislators added the threat portion. They removed the ability of the superintendent to modify the expulsion of a firearm under their authority. The board must affirm it. So even if the superintendent recommends, the board has to say, yes, we are going to expel this student. It did add virtual program and alternative setting as an option that you could continue to serve a student. The next one was probably the one that received the most, I guess you would say, they publicized it a lot and a lot of comments about the public school grading. This is the grading floor ban, is what some people were referring to it in the media. And it basically says that districts cannot have a grade floor policy. Teachers assign grades or scores, and it can't be like, the district can't say it must be a 60 or it must be whatever. They also included in this that you have to be eligible for credit recovery or content recovery. The student must complete all work assigned in the regular course before they can go into a credit recovery or content recovery situation. Also clarifies that formative and benchmark assessments, things like iReady, things like MAP, things like district benchmarks that we give to see where kids are, cannot be used for grading. Teachers cannot use it in their grade books. So everything that the student receives a grade for should be directly related to the work they did in that class. You know, teacher taught it, they were assessed on it. Participation is not allowed either. So it has to be actual graded work and not benchmarks. So we sent out, I sent out a reminder today to all the principals to make sure that they're reminding teachers of these new changes. One thing that was also included in that is that uniform grading policy that we've had for many years across the state is supposed to be reviewed. So they're gonna form a committee, and the committee's gonna get together, give input on the current grading policy. And once we receive that, that is supposed to be completed and in effect for the 28-29 school year. So they will be giving us input on that, and that'll be a state level committee that will look at the uniform grading policy. Another new law we talked about previously is the physical education and recess. This law did not go into effect this year, so we do have 1 year of planning, I guess you could say, because it goes into effect for the 27-28 school year. So it was approved, but it goes into effect next year. This directly impacts 4K through 8th grade students, and it requires at least 150 minutes per week of physical education and physical activity, a minimum of 20 minutes of unstructured outdoor recess daily for 4K through 8th grade, with indoor recess provided during inclement weather. At least 90 minutes of PE weekly for students in 4K through 5th grade, and then 60 hours of PE annually for students in grades 6 through 8. Now, high school students still have their requirement. They have to earn a PE credit before they graduate. So the high school part is still there, but it wasn't impacted by this change in the law. It also clarifies that recess cannot be used to fulfill curriculum or physical education requirements and cannot be withheld as punishment for more than twice a week. Currently, our policy states that we don't withhold recess, period, for behavior. So this is, in the law, we still can have our policy, and we remind principals of that recess should not be used as a form of punishment. And that will require some planning for next year to make sure we meet those minutes and hour requirements, because it is a little different. The state budget was finally sent to the governor on Monday. He also issued some vetoes, so there were 14 line item vetoes, and what he signed off on Monday. So we're waiting for those vetoes to be worked out, what they're gonna do, or if they're gonna take them and try to override those vetoes, or they're just gonna let them stay. The one thing that was probably the most interesting, I guess, for education is that teacher increase did pass. So that will go into effect. But technically, as of this moment, we still don't have a completely signed off budget for South Carolina. All Alright, we're hoping in the next week or so that we will be able to change that, but as of right now, there is still no approved budget in South Carolina, for education and all the other programs that are funded under that. I also wanted to give you an update on our current enrollment numbers. This slide was correct as of Monday. There have been a little kind of minor changes to some of the numbers since then. I will tell you that number is 2,449, and as of this afternoon, we were 2,445. So a couple more students down. During this time of year, we do have a lot of fluctuation where kids transfer in, can transfer out, particularly with like Horry County just started school this week. And so, and you have kids that were up north that may come down, their start date's different. So we do expect some more fluctuation, but I wanted you to know where we were as of this moment. And that is, if you look at the 135th day report from last year, which is what we're funded on, it was 2602. So we are down from that. And remember, for funding purposes, it's the 45th day and the 135th day are our two very important times for funding. So any questions that I can answer?
Is there any one particular school where the enrollment is down, or is it across the board?
It is across. All right, anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So let me apologize up front, I got plantar fasciitis, so I'm gonna sick, if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it. So we're gonna begin with the superintendent's board report. So, the back to school report from graduation achievements, extremely proud of the graduates from Lake City High School as well as St. Paul. We had 127 at Lake City High School with 56 graduates at St. Paul. And we had a total sum of scholarships of $1,514,000 of scholarships. So the first day of school, again, I want to commend our principals as well as our teachers. These are some of the quotes I heard from parents. Calm, business-like opening. Students were academically engaged on the first day. And a sense of joy in school. A lot of smiles and a lot of focus. So fun facts, we have 606 HVACs, keeping us cool during this hot summer. We have 529 toilets and urinals.
A lot of maintenance.
And we have 288 classrooms. All in function. Bus transportation. Thanks to our team of bus drivers. Their yearly miles traveled is 193,258 miles. That's going around the earth 7.7 times. Wow. In 1 year. Daily mileage, 1,073 miles. That's here to Austin, Texas. All right. Food service completion, 12,168. Breakfast served today. Oh, that's right. Yeah, appreciate it. All right, and lunch is served, 17,673. Breakfast served daily, 1,521. Lunch served daily, 2,209. So thank you to our cafeteria. For our book studies, we are working to increase our instructional leadership capacity. So we want to make sure that we are providing PD for all our leaders at every level in order to move our students. We have to be able to be strong instructional leaders for our teachers and help them grow as well. It all works together. So we have these book studies that we're working with the principals, advice from the principal's desk, and for our assistant principals, we have the assistant principals with Principal Khalifa. And at the district level, districts that succeed breaking the correlation between race, poverty, and achievement. So all of us are learning together. So let's get to the board policies. Just recently found out that, with policy GF, AB with tuition, this figure, presented on, last board meeting is procedural. So the district, in the policy, it actually states that the district may waive all or part of the transfer fees required.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to go for a vote. Okay. And then the code of conduct as well. I think all districts went through this. I know in my previous district, we did, when the kids came back from COVID, we instituted some things that, in order to try to curb discipline, but it stayed in place here. So we're looking to, provide, principals with more discretion about how discipline, happens in their school. Of course, we'll still follow level 1, level 2, and level 3. Instead of, instances where it goes straight to the hearing officer, we're gonna give principal discretion on how to handle those situations. But we're still there, absolutely support. Alright, and then finally, and this is for you. So, several of you have signed up for the Risky Business Conference, October the 14th through the 16th. We're looking to change that date to October 22nd. And somebody turns 49 that Saturday that weekend too, so I would really appreciate, if we can move the date. But I'll leave it up to you for a vote.
Yeah, cause it's just, that's the following Thursday,
Yeah.
correct? 'Cause
So we have 5 Thursdays.
5 Thursdays.
Yeah, so we have 5 Thursdays, so it'll just be the 4th Thursday instead of the 3rd. That's fine. Board, entertain a motion regarding the September board meeting date, or October board meeting, right? It's October board meeting date.
I move that we approve the change from the October 15th to October 22nd for the board meeting.
I have a motion by Ms. Julia Mims and a second by Mr. Jaquel Brown. Is there any discussion? None being noted. All in favor to approve the October school board meeting move from October 15th to October 22nd, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Any other questions for the superintendent?
I mean, I wanted to ask a question about, the discipline, like, you know, like, you're gonna send it to the principal, and that's good. But I've heard from teachers so much is that the problem they have with discipline, when they do send children to the office, they send the children back to them. You know, as we are trying to, you know, as our, teachers are trying to, do what they can, you know, with teaching our children, and all of y'all are educators, you know that one child can take the whole classroom out of balance. So when we're looking at discipline, I wish we were looking at that, is that, sometimes, I don't believe, this is me believing, that sometimes our children get off too easy when they have discipline problems, and then we continue to have those problems. So I just wish that we can look at that, and I'm not saying treat them like they're in prison or anything like that, but I think that in this district that we have to be more stricter with our policies. Yeah.
I would say this, I would say that, discipline can be subjective. One person may see something one way, another person may see it another way, right? One of the things that we have to take into account as well is that when students, are out of the classroom, they're missing instruction. Now, I'm not saying you send kids back for egregious things, but I will say that if it is in the policy, then we have to follow policy. Right, but it can't be to the point where kids are missing too much instruction or receive.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either, Dr. Super, but and I don't agree either with, even if it's my child, that they'll continue to do the same thing and they go right back to classroom. So, even though they need to be in seat time, but that is harming the other children and the teacher that's trying to teach the other children. So, I'm not saying that, I don't know, that's my opinion on it, and then I've heard so many, over the years, now, this is not just started, where teachers say that, they don't have any support. Not all teachers, but some, they don't have it, and not at all schools, but they don't have support when it comes to discipline, because when they send that child to the office, you send the child right back, and the child, he or she is doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's when you start with, replacement behavior, the provider replacement behavior. Because, let's be honest, they're kids and still learning, right?
Yeah.
So, just like we teach math and reading on a daily basis, you also have to teach appropriate behavior. Too, it shouldn't just be setting the expectation day one and you never talk about it again. You gotta talk about it throughout the year.
So let me ask that, I'm not gonna ask, you're new, but I can ask the other district office staff, do we teach our teachers about behavior? In other words, help our teachers as much as we can to not per se to look at the child, but not look at the behavior, but look at the child. And we know that behavior extends from good behavior or bad behavior, extends from something. And I know that we don't have all the people in the place to find out exactly what's causing that behavior, but how do we train not only our teachers, but instruction aid, everybody, because down to the bus driver, everybody's included in making a difference in this children's life. So what do we have in place there to help when it comes down to behavior? Outside of, saying that.
We do, have, like Kevin Graham is a certified CPI instructor. You mentioned buses, he actually does things with the, buses on de-escalating, with the bus drivers on de-escalating behavior, understanding. He does the same training with administrators, we've had special ed teachers, we have a lot of people who have gone through that CPI training. And a lot of times people think CPI is just the restraint, that's only one part. The whole CPI training is about de-escalating and how to respond when kids misbehave.
And so I'll speak on this as well, because I was responsible for this in my, prior district. It also starts with the adult.
Right.
It does. So if you are, and adults are human, and sometimes, teachers are in survival mode due to situations that are outside of their job.
Right.
It's important that as adults we recognize that, right? But we could also be in the emotional state. The emotional state is a response to, whatever is the stem, and we have to recognize that we're in that state. But we want our adults and all of our adults to remain in the executive state, right? And teach our kids what state they're in. Because they're coming from backgrounds too. I told you my story, I'll let you know about my story.
Right.
It's important that you know what state you're in as a child, but as an adult as well.
True.
You start with the adult first to teach children.
So you've talked about training administrators and bus drivers. Are you training teachers?
Yes.
And cafeteria workers and custodial staff?
I just started about but
I'm just asking.
yeah, but that's something that we have, in our plan.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Board, I entertain a motion, that's it, your report?
That's it, my report.
Okay, thank you. Board, I entertain a motion regarding executive session.
I'll make the motion that we exit from open session to executive session to discuss personal matters, concerns of possible hiring, termination, resignation, placed on leave, or legal matters.
Second.
Second by Ms. Palmer, is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to exit from open session and enter executive session to discuss personnel matters, possible hiring, termination, resignation, placed on leave, or legal matters, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Board, I entertain a motion regarding exit from executive session and reconvening back in open session.
Mr. Chair, I move that we exit executive session and reconvene to open session.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rutha Frierson and a second by Ms. Paula Morris. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to exit from executive session and reconvene back into open session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There is no action needed from executive session. Board, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Julia Mills and a second by Mr. Jaquel Brown. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?